Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
What happens behind this closed door? No one really knows.
They won't stop chanting. Controversy still swirling around Trayvon Martin's death. We have 2 reports.
And bees could be buzzing less and less. How that could impact us in a big way.
Plus, a musical blast from the past. I'm Preston Jones.
And I'm Kathleen Whitty. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
The gatekeeper of justice at UNC. You plagiarize a paper, it decides your fate. The Honor Court. But last year, when UNC football player Michael McAdoo's plagiarism slipped through the cracks, the Honor Court came under fire.
Our Honor Code is more than 130 years old, and the Honor Court is charged with upholding it. But is it fair? Are all students treated the same? Sydney Swafford reports that it's hard to tell.
This door stays locked. Only the people involved in honor court cases are supposed to go in and out. But does that confidentiality come at the price of justice?
Outgoing Honor Court Chair Michelle Healy would say no.
I think it's one of those things where everyone on our staff takes very seriously the confidentiality and the rights of students, and I think those two things are intertwined, at least in my mind.
But that's about all she will say. Healy says she can't discuss old cases, can't even talk about hypothetical cases. Neither can the other 80 members of the court, not even with each other. That's what they say. With only 4 Honor Court members sitting in on each case, that means decisions are made case by case. There's no system of precedence. So what does the court consider? There are 4 factors: gravity of the offense, educational value, equitable treatment for similar offenses, and other compelling circumstances. Outgoing Student Attorney General John McKay says that last factor, other compelling circumstances, is tricky. Being in a play, working with student government, or playing a sport could all be considered compelling circumstances.
I'm not saying that this is an overriding issue that if you were involved in these things, you get off. That's not the case. But what the court wants to take into consideration is how the university community will be affected by your removal in a holistic sense.
When I asked Michelle Healy about this, she wouldn't say much.
I can't tell you specifically what would be compelling or not compelling in a given case, but that anytime a student brings in evidence to us, we look at every single piece that comes.
So these strict privacy regulations supposedly made to protect students might actually mean they're getting punished differently for the same crime.
But thanks to those same rules, there's no way to prove it. These court cases stay behind closed doors. In Chapel Hill, I'm Sydney Swafford, Carolina Week.
To cut down on plagiarism hearings in the Honor Court, incoming students might have one more thing to add to their to-do list: an online plagiarism module explaining how the honor system works and what could be a violation. No decision yet on whether the training will be mandatory, but mandatory or not, the training could start as early as this summer.
And Carolina Covenant scholars on academic probation will now have to pay out of pocket for summer school. The scholarship pays for certain disadvantaged UNC students. Before all summer school loans taken out by Covenant scholars would be converted to grants. But now Covenant scholars on academic probation will have to pay back the loans themselves. And we're learning that the university's Senior Director of Recruitment and Multicultural Program is stepping down. Terry Houston emailed members of the campus community today saying she will remain on campus in the months after she steps down, but gave no reason for her departure.
Construction underway at Carolina North, UNC's new research and academic campus, coming just 2 miles north of campus. Now right here you can see construction workers installing the wiring system that will bring electricity to the campus. The same company just got the go-ahead to install a pipeline from the Eubanks Road landfill. A generator at Carolina North will take methane gas piped in from the landfill and turn it into electricity. Construction for that should start next week. And street resurfacing in Carborough could hold you up in traffic. Roadwork coming to Greensboro Street, while construction between the intersections of East Poplar Avenue and Carr Street will take place at night. The rest of the construction will happen during the day. The project is expected to be completed by June 1st. Trayvon Martin's death has the nation talking about race and about justice. We have two reports tonight. The first involves the law in North Carolina, the second, a cartoon.
Let's start with Florida's Stand Your Ground law. The law says a person may use deadly force if feeling threatened. What you might not know, North Carolina has a very similar law. Amy Whitaker has more.
Signs, hoodies, and lots of yelling. Most of these students are members of the UNC Black Law Students Association.
We felt like the criminal justice system failed Trayvon Martin and his family.
17-year-old Trayvon Martin was shot by 26-year-old George Zimmerman while walking home from a convenience store, unarmed and wearing a hoodie. Zimmerman has not been charged with anything yet, but a state attorney is investigating the situation. Florida's Stand Your Ground law has become a focal point of the case.
This allows a person such as George Zimmerman, for example, to kill someone and then say, well, I reasonably felt harmed.
North Carolina has a similar law based on what's known as the Castle Doctrine. North Carolina Central Criminal Law student Greg Doucette explains.
Your home is your castle. Someone was trying to break in, you feared for your life, thought they were going to do something bad. You had the ability to use any degree of force, including lethal force, to stop them from getting in.
Last summer, the General Assembly passed a revision to that law, permitting the use of deadly force anywhere you feel your life threatened. Not just your home, making North Carolina's law almost identical to Florida's. The state representative who sponsored the revision, Stephen LaRoque, told me he supports the law now more than ever. He says every American citizen should have the right to protect themselves on their property and wherever they feel their life threatened. Critics call it a shoot first, think later mentality, and demonstrators say that's why they're trying to shed light on the law. In Chapel Hill, I'm Amy Whitaker, Carolina Week.
The controversy in the case doesn't stop there. An editorial cartoon printed in the Daily Tar Heel is causing a commotion on campus too. Avery Harper reports.
There are dozens of editorial cartoons about the killing of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. But this one, published in the Daily Tar Heel, depicting Martin dead on the ground, is sparking a hot debate at UNC. Black Student Movement President-elect Alexis Davis.
It was kind of like a humiliation, sort of like a slap in the face to us.
Students like Davis responded, flooding the DTH with letters, tweets, and emails. DTH opinion editor Maggie Zellner sent an apology email to offended students, saying time constraints prevented her from seeing the cartoon before it hit newsstands.
I wish I had seen it, but I didn't. But I still feel at fault.
Zellner's response was very different from DTH editor-in-chief Stephen Norton, who says the cartoon was appropriate.
I mean, to me, it was an editorial cartoon that was making its point.
Professor Farrell Guillory specializes in editorial writing. He said effective cartoons are controversial.
A cartoon doesn't capture nuance the way words do.
Norton issued a statement standing by his decision. Some readers and even DTH staffers disagreed.
I'm afraid that by apologizing only for the consequences and not for the decision itself, that he may have further alienated our readers.
I just personally didn't really like his statement that came out.
Norton says he won't change his position.
It's a matter of free speech.
Zellner says feedback is always welcomed at the DTH, even negative.
You know, the day that we stop getting angry letters is the day that I've stopped doing my job.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Avery Harper, Carolina Week.
We are now less than 1 month away from the North Carolina primary. In addition to candidates, state voters will decide on Amendment 1, a proposed amendment to the Constitution known as the Same-Sex Marriage Amendment. Reporter Ross Maloney joins us with the story. Ross, what can you tell us?
Well, the amendment is producing plenty of debate and some confusion. First, what does the amendment mean? The proposed language reads, marriage between one man and one woman is the only domestic legal union that shall be valid or recognized in this state. Now, key legislative proponents think this is simply a ban on same-sex marriage, but some legal scholars think otherwise. I spoke with Speaker Pro Tem Dale Falwell and UNC law professor Maxine Eichner.
Why now in 2012? Why is it important to define marriage between a man and a woman in North Carolina?
It's been the law since the 1600s. It's been in our law book since 1996. It's been there the whole time. We're just codifying in the Constitution.
Representative Falwell says the amendment is simply codifying what has already been upheld in courts for generations. Is this accurate?
That's certainly not true. We have a statute in North Carolina law, and what that says is marriage is between one man and one woman.
So the state has defined marriage as existing between one man and one woman. That's on the records.
That's correct. Now, there's no question that the language in our proposed amendment is significantly broader than that and would strike down a range of protections for unmarried couples beyond simply giving them same-sex marriage or an equivalent package of rights and benefits.
Representative Falwell says more than 30 states have similar amendments. But Eichner says not all marriage amendments are created equal. She says most states' amendments simply prohibit same-sex marriage, but Eichner says our amendment has the broadest language, banning any recognition of both unmarried same-sex and opposite-sex couples. Still, Falwell contends no one would lose any rights.
But there's a lot of misinformation that's being put out there regarding a marriage amendment, a lot of which is coming from the law school here at Chapel Hill. I mean, the bottom line is that there's so many things about the constitutional amendment that are being said that are not true yesterday, they're not true today, and they're not going to be true tomorrow.
What are you most afraid voters won't realize about the amendment they're voting on?
I'm most afraid that voters will think this is simply a ban on same-sex marriage, that this simply incorporates our current ban on same-sex marriage and puts it into the North Carolina Constitution. That couldn't be more wrong.
Amendment 1, the latest polling is showing that Amendment 1 will pass with about 58% of the vote at this point.
All right, Ross, thank you for that.
In observance of Sexual Violence Awareness Month, a few groups on campus have joined together in an effort to educate UNC students about human trafficking. This long paper chain winding around Polk Place, as you see right there, might have caught your eye. It was there to symbolize the emotional and physical bondage in which an estimated 27 million trafficked people live across the world, approximately 17,000 of those in the United States. If you want to get involved this week, check out a concert by local musicians tomorrow night at 9:30. It's at Mrs. D's house on Cameron Avenue. Admission is free, but donations will go to the human rights agency International Justice Mission. And UNC students getting involved in Poverty Action Week, too. And Drawing with Sidewalk Chalk was at the center of things. Students and the homeless came together for the event as a way to bridge the gap between two groups of people that don't normally interact. If you want to get involved in Poverty Action Week, there are several events this week. Tomorrow at 4:30, you can go to a town hall panel and discuss homelessness and poverty. Also Thursday, Pulse Nightclub will host a global music jam starting at 10. And finally, the week will close with a box out on Friday, where UNC students will sleep in boxes outside all night long. For more information, visit our website, carolinaweek.org.
Did you know 884 million people, or 3 times the population of the United States, don't have access to clean water? Or even more shocking, that more than 3.5 million people die each year from water-related disease.
Many of us don't know these statistics, but if you'll be taking classes here for the next 2 years, you may. Reporter Tyler Ford explains.
We drink it, we cook with it, we wash with it. Water keeps us alive, and for the next 2 years, it will bring us together. UNC professors Jamie Bartram and Terry Rhodes are behind the water initiative here at UNC. Bartram says the idea is that professors will use water as a theme in their teaching lessons.
It's one of the very few themes that we could imagine that would actually enable us to draw together all the threads of what happens at Carolina. It doesn't matter if you're performing arts, if you're public health, if you're dentistry. Water affects everyone.
Bartram believes all students need to learn about the importance of water. For example, for millions, it's not so easy to get. He had me try to balance a water pot on top of my head to show the measures many families take just to have water in their houses.
I think your marriage prospects are good.
Needless to say, I need more practice. Bartram says students just need to know more.
We can't feed humankind on our planet unless we do a good job with water. We can't continue to develop our industries unless we do a good job with the way we manage water. So why care? Hey, it's your future.
Faculty Council Chair Jan Boxell says it's great to see Bartram and other professors so energized about the plan.
Just seeing the enthusiasm of faculty, and I've always been an interdisciplinary person, so that's what's really nice.
We can make a difference, and being able to make a difference is one of the defining features of Carolina.
So, if you're in a literature class next year and your professor brings up the theme of water, don't be confused. Just know it's one small piece of a larger plan. In Chapel Hill, I'm Tyler Ford, Carolina Week.
All right, well, feeling a little lonely? We'll let you know how you can bring these puppies home with you. That story's coming up.
Online by liking the Carolina Week Facebook page and following us on Twitter at Carolina Week UNC.
Between pulling all-nighters to write papers and going out on Franklin Street, it's no secret most students don't get enough sleep. I know I don't.
Yeah, I definitely don't. And with spending all the time on our cell phones and computers, that's not helping our sleeping situation either. Amber Roberts explains.
Television, Facebook, phones, all may be hurting the quality of your sleep.
But how? Why is it that this television screen or this phone is keeping us from a good night's rest?
The answer? Melatonin, a hormone released when it is dark to make us sleepy. When our bodies are exposed to bright light at bedtime, the amounts of melatonin released weakens. Director of the Center for Health Promotion and Disease Prevention, Alice Ammerman, stresses the importance of quality sleep.
A lot of people now are falling asleep to the television, or kids have a cell phone in their bed, adolescents are there doing Facebook, and that can contribute to the quality or lesser quality of sleep, which can be just as important as the actual duration.
Ammerman also believes every person should be concerned with sleep, and some of the most sleep-deprived individuals are college students.
If there's one thing college students know, is that we have to sacrifice sleep to make it through our weeks.
College students sleep on average 6 hours a night, compared with the 9 hours recommended by the National Sleep Foundation.
Some of the health implications seem to be obesity, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, where there's an inverse relationship. Those who sleep less seem to have higher rates.
The lesson learned? When it comes to sleep, it's about the quality and quantity. So next time you go to bed, make sure to cut off the television, computer, and your cell phone, and get the recommended hours in. In Chapel Hill, I'm Amber Roberts, Carolina Week.
And while you're staying up late, you might get a little hungry. Have you seen those people riding around on scooters with bright pink flags? Well, the fanfare isn't just for fun. The business is part of the newest food delivery company to hit the streets of Chapel Hill. It's called Scoot Food, and it's run by Hector's. Right now, it delivers food from Hector's and Chipotle. It started up less than a month ago, but there are plans to expand the service to include other restaurants. A portion of the company's profits will go to charities like the UNC Lineberger Center.
Last week, our health team gave us the pros and cons of running barefoot. This week, kids at the Chapel Hill YMCA spend a day walking without shoes. All these shoes will soon be shipped to developing countries. It's all part of Tom's One Day Without Shoes campaign. To celebrate, kids at the Y participated in the Barefoot Carnival and then walked a mile without shoes to the Chapel Hill Police Station.
If you've ever wanted a furry companion to go on long walks or snuggle up to at night but haven't had the money, now is your chance. Orange County Animal Services is cutting adoption fees for cats and dogs in hopes of finding more homes. Cats and kittens normally go for $95, but now one of these can be yours for just $50. And the price for a dog or puppy has been slashed almost by half. And a canine companion can be yours for just $60. The special ends Saturday the 14th. And from dogs and cats to bees, that's right. Bees, you may see them as just an annoyance.
But we depend on them for much of our food, and they may be in danger along with our food supply. Health team reporter Carly McConnell explains.
Orange County beekeeper Jack Tapp raises bees to produce honey and pollinate local farms.
Every third bite of food we eat is dependent upon the pollination of a honeybee.
During the past decade, entire colonies of honeybees have disappeared. Some scientists say insecticides may be one reason. A recent French study finds a neonicotinoid insecticide called thiamethoxam harms bees, but it's not clear how much.
In the French experiment, honeybees were exposed to this chemical, used to treat crops like corn, sunflower, and canola, and up to 1/3 of the honeybees didn't return to their hive.
Entomologist Dick Rogers from the farm chemical company Bayer Crop Science says the insecticide can affect bees.
One of the concepts is that when you treat honeybees with neonicotinoids, it can impair learning and memory, and therefore bees that are in the field may not be able to find their way home.
But Rogers says proper use of the chemical shouldn't hurt bees.
The way they're used in agriculture is at much, much lower levels.
But the French study found doses too small to kill the bees can still hurt their ability to get back to their hive.
Those insecticides that are very toxic to bees, we need to really look at and educate the people that are using them, when to use them, how to use them.
Some European countries have banned certain neonicotinoid insecticides. In the U.S., beekeepers and environmentalists are petitioning the Environmental Protection Agency to do the same. In rural Orange County, I'm Carly McConnell, Carolina Week.
And with all the warm weather, I've seen a lot of bees outside, and we've all been spoiled by it, but it could be getting cooler. Meteorologist Katie McGee will let us know what we can expect this weekend.
And plus, the spring football game is this weekend. We'll give you all the details later in sports.
Oh, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Story we've had this week in weather has been in association with this huge cloud mass to our west. That has been producing several severe storms as well as a few tornadic storms. However, as we look back to North Carolina, we can see a few clouds tiptoeing in. However, we're left with most...
All right, looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulty. We'll be right back.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
It's finally time for Carolina fans to see just what Larry Fedora is doing with the football team. Good evening, I'm Andy Reeves. The Carolina football spring practice game is this Saturday. Fans should expect to see a lot of sophomore running back Gio Bernard. There you see him with the huge touchdown run, but eyes will mostly be on how quarterback Bryn Renner is fitting into the new spread offense. There you see him with the beautiful deep ball there. That ball was caught by Dwight Jones. There you see him with another TD. The Heels will have to replace him and others like defensive lineman Quentin Copels, who you see with the sack. The game won't tell everything about the fall, but it should give fans an idea of what to expect. The game is at 3 p.m. Saturday at Kenan Stadium. Harrison Barnes, Kendall Marshall, and John Henson all came to UNC to prepare for careers in professional basketball, but Carolina is a finishing school for other aspiring pros as well. Mark Griffin introduces you to the top Tar Heel tennis prospect.
Jose Hernandez is at UNC to improve his tennis game and get a degree.
It'd be good to have a degree, you know, for a second option in case tennis doesn't go as well.
The junior economics major is Carolina's #1 singles player and is ranked 33rd in the country. He's been playing tennis since he was a child in the Dominican Republic.
My mom played tennis, so every time when I was little, when she was going to the club, I was going with her.
Before Hernandez came here to Carolina's tennis center, he was playing on the Futures Tour and even represented his country in the Davis Cup. On the tour, he met former UNC tennis player Nick Monroe. Monroe suggested he should come to Carolina to develop his tennis game.
I thought I needed more experience to go to the professional level, and UNC offered me a great deal with the coaching and academics as well.
Playing tennis at college has helped a number of current high-profile American players, including John Isner at the University of Georgia, the Bryan brothers at Stanford University, and James Blake at Harvard University. Sam Paul is the head men's tennis coach. He's seen a lot of improvement in Hernandez's game during his time at UNC.
Well, he's gotten stronger, serve's gotten better, probably every facet of his game has gotten better.
When Hernandez first came here, there were no other international players. This year, a freshman from Denmark and another from Norway have joined him. Hernandez hopes for more of this in the future, and that his time as a Tar Heel will help him after he graduates and turns pro. In Chapel Hill, I'm Mark Griffin, Carolina Week.
Now, Hernandez and the Heels are in action today at Duke, and we have a quick score update for you. It's still 1-0 early in that match. The 6 singles matches going on right now. Carolina needs to win 3 of those to win the match. And the softball team is up 11-0 at the top of the 6th inning in their game at UNC Greensboro. There's also a doubleheader. That is part of a doubleheader. UNCG, the softball team will play UNCG again at 6 p.m. and the Carolina baseball team plays UNC Asheville at 6 p.m. tonight at the Bosch. So a lot going on in terms of Carolina athletics.
Yeah, staying busy out there. All right, Andy, thank you for that. Well, coming up, it's a blast from the past. We'll tell you how you can experience Grease Lightning next.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write to Carolina Week, Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week online at carolinaweek.org.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans. These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids. Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. So is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Well, it's not 2012, it's 1959 again, and Rydell High is coming to a stage near you. Pauper players are putting on the musical Grease. It opens this Friday at the Carborough Arts Center. You'll be able to hear popular hits like... and of course, Summer Nights. And yes, that's our own Carolina Week, Sydney Swafford there. Look for her throughout the play. The musical will run April 13th to the 17th. Shows begin at 8 p.m. and students receive discounted tickets advanced and at the door. And rejoining us now is meteorologist Katie McKee. She's got the 5-day forecast. Katie, take it away.
All right, so it looks like this next couple of days we're going to have temperatures 64 tomorrow with a low temperature of 37. However, with that low temperature, there will be a frost advisory tonight. So make sure you break out the ice picks again. And then we'll see it warming up to the 80s again Sunday and Monday, few clouds Saturday. So that warm temperature will be returning to us very soon.
Looks like a nice weekend. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Good night.